Maybe, yeah. All right. Welcome back to the third episode of the Getting High podcast. Today, I'm joined with some swimmer friends from a while back. We've known each other for a pretty long time. I got my boy SpicyLou below me. I got 50 Shades of Ray to my right. How you guys doing?
Other, oh,
You're to my right.
on
Okay,
my
wait.
screen, I'm
For
to your left.
for me, I'm at the bottom, Andy's
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and Ray's there.
Oh, it's flip flop for
I
me.
yeah. It's I so. Okay, whatever. Fuck it.
It
It doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. It doesn't matter.
We gotta start over now.
No, we
Get back to the
don't.
high
Shut
quality
up.
intro.
We don't need to do the iCarly
Yeah,
intro.
we'll just cut that out.
Yeah. No, that's staying in. So let the people know, like, what are you guys up to? Like, what are you guys doing? All that kind of stuff.
Well, I am because of quarantine. I got bored enough to actually start Twitch streaming, and it's SpicyLou, but like SpicyLou underscore, because apparently SpicyLou is already taken. And this shirt, actually, I also got bored enough to start a t-shirt brand with one of my buddies called Alternative Trail. And we haven't really done much, but like we've started some designs and we actually have some samples, including this one.
It just says,
Yeah.
is it just stinky on the front? Is that all it says?
Yep.
That's amazing. That
all
shirt
you
is
need.
amazing. What? Holy shit. All right, Ray, what
Right,
have you
yeah.
been up to, man?
Well, since quarantine, I have been out of the job until recently, where I lifeguard. That started back up. So that and like the states starting to open up, just like started my life of like actually doing stuff again. Than just like sitting there staring at paint dry. I could watch grass grow.
Which is more fun, watching paint dry or watching grass grow?
Depends. It depends on the
Yeah.
day. Because
Depends on my mood.
weekend, yeah, right. See,
Uh,
you're not just gonna watch grass grow on a Tuesday. That's basic.
what about a Wednesday? What about a Wednesday?
Wednesday, ooh,
I'm not like other girls. I watch paint dry on Friday.
just so quirky and random, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So first thing we should kind of cover. Oh, what is going on with Ray?
Oh,
My video just completely cut out for like a solid 5
Oh,
seconds.
that was great. That was amazing. All right, so let's go over a little bit how we met and like how long we've known each other. So obviously we all know each other from swimming, but like genuinely, how long have we known each other? Because I was trying to think about it, and I was like, have I known Luca since he was 8?
I feel like, well, I know with me and Ray,
Yeah.
me and Ray were always like the weird kids on the team, and we started off really slow because we were both really chubby when we were younger.
Yeah.
So we were in the slow lane. And then we'd always have these like dumb bits that we would do. And then we kind of just became friends. But I feel like with me and Andy, it's like kind of like the relationship I've had with like all the other older kids, where like I always knew of them, but I feel like we didn't actually like start becoming like we always knew each other, but we never actually
Yeah.
started becoming friends until I was like a freshman in high school.
Yeah, because we like. So to put a little context on this, I'm 3 or 4 years older than Ray. Ray, you're 19, right?
I'm 19.
Okay, no, I'm 2 years older than Ray, technically. 2.5 years older than Ray, and I'm about 3 years older than Luca.
Yeah, 3, 4. Well, 4.
Four grades, yeah. I'm 4 grades higher than Luca. So it's like, so once he got into high school, I was already out,
Yeah.
and so we've
Mhm.
like, yeah, we've known of each other. I think we've known of each other since you were 8. And then
Pretty
same
much,
for Ray. I think it was like 9 when I met Ray, when he was like his age.
Yeah. Before freshman year, which was when I actually got to start knowing you, you were the old kids on the team, so you were like the cool kids. You were in like
Oh
lanes
yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can't associate with the cool kids yet.
Yeah, I
On the bottom, you got to build up the clout from there, you know.
Yeah.
yeah, I remember like this weird like distinct memory I have of you was when I was really little, and like you could like jump really high for some reason, and I remember like all the older kids were trying to like jump higher than each other and like put tape on the wall. You know what I'm talking
I know
about.
exactly what it is. Yeah,
And you had the highest vert out of everyone, and I was like, yo, he's sick.
yeah. Dude, one of my weirdest memories of you, Luca, is actually we were at conference during the summer one year, and I think I was like 14, so you were about like 10, and this was right when like Spotify was like starting to like get bigger, and like that's when I like moved over to Spotify from Pandora or whatever, and you were so insistent on having me follow you on Spotify for whatever reason.
I don't remember that at all.
And to this day, I still follow you on Spotify.
Hold on, let me
So
check.
so every single time I see you like on Spotify listening to music, I think of that memory, and it's just like, I honestly, when I was 14, I was just like, this kid is so fucking annoying. Like
I
why do you,
wondered why we always followed each other on Spotify.
dude? We've been following each other for forever because of that one day. You were just like, yeah, I'm gonna convince Andy to follow me on Spotify, and you broke me like midway through the meet. I was like, fuck it, fine, all right, whatever. How do you do this? All right, fine, I'm following you.
How do you do this?
Because I think you're the first person I ever followed on Spotify too. Because I did not follow anyone. Like that just wasn't something that I did. It was just like, oh, I guess I'll follow him on Spotify. It was just the weirdest thing.
That's
Um,
wild.
and then when it came to like,
Did not know you could follow people on Spotify.
well,
Just
Ray
figured
learned
this.
something
I need
today.
to I need to open up Spotify. Because I know you could follow like their playlists, but I didn't know just people in general.
Yeah, just doesn't know.
Is
Just
that
doesn't
only,
know
like,
anything.
a premium thing?
Uh huh.
Oh no,
Okay, it's not.
I don't
No,
think so.
it's not a premium thing. It's just like you can do it whenever. Because I don't have premium right now. Because money's tight in a quarantine.
You will
Money's tight. It's
never
only episode
catch me
3.
getting Spotify Premium.
Yeah, so
Spotify Premium, not worth. I'll do the ads.
I hate ads. I can't stand them. It drives me insane. um, so actually, when it comes to Ray, dude, I don't remember Ray as a little kid. I only remember Luca as a little kid. And
Yeah, I was very good at just like staying out of things,
Blending.
blending into the background.
I think the first memory I have of Ray is when he finally got moved up into like some of the faster lanes for swimming, and I was like, he better not get in my way. And in fairness, he didn't. So good.
I remember freshman year, I was like walking up, I was like, frick, I don't know anyone at all. And like you walked up to me and you were just like, yo, like, you're pretty fast, but like this Peter kid just hopped in lane 1. Like, you gotta watch out for him. And I was just crapping myself. Just like, who is this Peter kid? And like he's standing there like all confident as like, who is he?
Oh, dude. Yeah. I think Peter died a little that day too.
He did.
I think Peter died a little that day, unfortunately.
He did not know what he was getting into.
No,
Yeah, for
he really didn't.
the people watching, yeah, Peter like did not swim ever before this, so he didn't know like lane 1 was the fastest, and then it went down from there. So he just unknowingly hopped in the fastest lane with the confidence of freaking He-Man.
The confidence of a god, really.
Yeah.
It was very very interesting. He had a lot of gusto to do that, in fairness. But oh well, it was funny. So yeah, I think we, before we go into more stories about swimming, because I'm sure we have a shit ton of them. Let's talk about what got us into swimming and why we stuck with it. Because obviously, so I'm done as a swimmer. I'm retired as a competitive swimmer. I barely swim casually anymore, even though I have a pool. Like I just don't. And Ray, you're still swimming, right?
I'm swimming D3 now. It's mainly just for fun, and
Yeah.
so I don't get too fat. But
And then Luca, are you done?
I am done.
Okay. So, yeah. So we're all pretty much done being at like our peak competitive level, but throughout our lives, because I swam from 8 to 18, so I swam for like about 10 years. Um, and I'm sure Luca and Ray did about the same. So like what really got you to stick with it?
Well, for me, starting out before I was the one kid who tried like every single sport, and I like hated every single sport, and swimming was like the last on the bracket. And when I was talking to my parents and I was like, I don't like swimming, and they were like, no, there's literally nothing else you could do. You're sticking with swimming, so it's kind of like yeah. But in middle school, I started wrestling as well. When I was in seventh grade, I did like both, like half swim, half wrestling, and then I kind of liked wrestling more. And then like in eighth grade, I only wrestled and I didn't swim for a year. But like, oh my god, I not a wrestler. It was yeah. When I came back and I started swimming again my freshman year, it was like I had a whole new like what's the word? Like
appreciation.
appreciation for the sport.
Were you also gonna say appreciation, Andy?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
Oh yeah.
You beat me to the punch. You're
Wait,
on the
no,
wrong
the other
side.
way,
Yeah,
right?
there you
Yeah,
go.
give it to me.
Yeah,
Boom.
there you go.
I got you, man. Oh,
That's
yes.
the dumbest shit.
Thanks, bros.
This is so dumb. All right, so Ray, what you got you to stick with swimming?
So, similar to Luca, I went through the song and dance of all the other sports, t-ball, AYSO soccer,
Sir,
and my big thing, I was a little on the chunky side as a kid, and that reflected in my personality as in I didn't want to do anything. I was very and so when they had me like running around for like baseball, I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's too much work.
Yeah.
Or like soccer when they're like, all right, now you're gonna like kick this ball all the way down the field. It's like, okay, that's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got lost in swimming. And it's like I'm like, oh, you just gotta splish splash around for like an hour. And I was like, lit, let's do it. Obviously that was like the lower levels. Then as I like got like stuck with it, I started to like really enjoy it. And then I found out it was a lot more than splish and splashing. That kind of spooked me. But I was like, okay, I enjoy this. I guess I can put in some genuine effort into it. And yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. I think we all did this like the same thing of like, all right, every single sport, and then all right, I hate every single sport. It's time for swimming.
Yeah, it's like the Midwest thing.
Yeah.
Where Midwest summers like go through the dance, like, oh, now you're gonna do T-ball. You don't like T-ball. You know what? Let's just toss you an AYSO. You know, you
Yeah.
get a little trophy every year. You get to name your team. Remember
oh,
one year, Silver Tigers represent.
dude, one year, my team name was like the super amazing bombastic goal kickers or something like that. It was really dumb.
Dude, I think the best one that I actually named, like of teams that I was ever on, was called the Little Dumplings. And we were like 12 or 13.
The dumpling.
That's hype.
And it was just like, all right, yeah, we're the Little Dumplings. And I'm like, everyone was like, I don't give a fuck, sure. And so we all became the Little Dumplings, and that's how that one went. But yeah, that was entertaining. But yeah, so same thing. I actually, right when I started, when I was like 8, I actually like kind of got into it still, and I was like I really enjoyed it, because I at the point, like as like a 10-year-old, or not, as an 8-year-old, I was swimming with like the 9-10s, because I was at their level. And so I was like, okay, fun, this is fine, I can swim with them. And then like and then like after that, I just stopped taking it seriously. And then when I hit 12, that's when like it became year round. So then we were able to swim in the winter because we got our indoor pool, and it was just like, all right, cool. Do I want to take this seriously? All right, well, sure, let's try it. And on top of that, we had, in my eyes, we had a good coach, Eric. He always kind of looked out for me. So I that kind of like kept me there and kept me with it. Is just definitely having that good coaching staff, and definitely having like the people there, like the staff to there to support like everything that you're going through. Because I know like early on, like 2 years in, like my mom had a tumor in her brain, and she had a surgery to take it out. And I know I haven't talked about this much, because like it was just like a weird time in my life, and it was just wasn't really something that I wanted to go over. But like Eric was like always there for me. He was always asking every single day at practice. He was like, all right. He made it. He took time out of his day to ask how my mom was doing after the recovery, like during the recovery. He always asked like if there's anything he could do. If I needed to get in the water early because I was frustrated or something like that, he would literally clear a lane for me just so I could warm up by myself. And I'm like, all right, well, and having someone like that there for you all the time is definitely gonna help with like sticking with that sport. Because in reality, sometimes swimming fucking sucks. And I think we can all attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing sets of butterfly, doing sets of like 500s, doing breathing sets where it's like, all right, every 25 you have to switch your breathing pattern from 3, 5, 7, 9. Those suck.
I love doing that.
Love those.
Well, like I
I
love
hate
doing
those.
that as a coach. I
Oh.
love giving it to them when they piss me off.
Oh yeah,
Also
yeah.
coach. Yeah, I coach for. Well, when we're not in Corona, I would be coaching as
Yeah.
So I'd always give them breath control because they always you got to break the habit of breathing on every side. I mean, on the same side.
Something I never broke.
Oh, me neither. Me neither.
See,
Every
when I
time I'd be like in the water swimming, like, and like one of the kids would like walk by, they're like, "You're breathing on the same side." And I was like, I'm just showing you what to do. What are you talking about?
Coaches don't play. Coaches don't play.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's having going back to it, having someone there to be supportive of you, as a coach, it definitely helps. And it's as a coach when I was a swimming coach, like that was something that, I tried to emulate as well. So hopefully I impacted someone's life in that way. Maybe. We'll see.
You do a lot of fly.
I did make you do a lot of fly.
You remember that one set? There's like one round of sets where it's just like, I got you. I'm pretty sure like I said something dumb to piss you off, and you're like, you're doing this fly.
I feel like there were so many different times when that could have happened that I can't pinpoint it.
Whenever I hear somebody say fly set, I always think of the mile fly that me and Ray
Mile fly.
Isaiah, it was like all the seniors my sophomore year got to pick got to pick what we would do on each Saturday because there was a bunch of them, and Isaiah made a set where it was like do XYZ, but it's like do whatever stroke you want, and like they split us into lanes, and then me and Ray were like the only flyers of the team, so we were like, you already know where we're going. And we ended up doing 16 yards or 1600 yards.
Whole 16 yards.
It totaled 1600 yards, and then we were like, we got another 50 in us to total the mile.
Yeah, because what happened was every Saturday, as Lucas said, there'd be a new kid to pick the set. It's usually always the seniors. They would like make a set of their own. So Isaiah, he made it like stroke specific, which like in concept that's a good idea, but you can't just do a full practice of one stroke. Yeah. Anyways, our coach at the time, he switched it from Saturday to Friday, and the difference between a Saturday set and a Friday set is Saturday is 1 hour and Friday's 2 hours. So when practice ended, when the main set was over, after like 45 minutes, Mike was like, "Where's the rest of the set?" He's like, "I planned a 1 hour practice for a 1 hour day." He's like, "Well, we're doing it again." So we did. Original one we did was 800. So then we did it again.
Oh,
Make
Jesus.
1600.
I actually forgot about that.
Yeah,
I just remember doing a mile.
because I just remember like Isaiah's like blank face, like it was for a 1 hour practice.
He's like, no, they're fine. They're fine.
Dude,
So we just had to redo the entire thing.
that's
He
tough.
didn't know how to set the times. Yeah, he didn't know how to like correctly set the times for the fly. So we were going at like pretty fast intervals. For like it hit the wall, I'd get like some breaths, mutter like "fuck this," and then I'd have to go again.
No, I remember we got so tired and like the blood flow was so off with us. We were slapping each other in the face and it
No,
felt
we were.
good. 'Cause we were
We
like,
just need
smack me in the face, and like there was like more like that gave us more blood flow, so it was actually like beneficial to us.
me. I just needed like to feel something else other than my arms falling off. So the slap in the face like numbed my arm pain a little bit because I was focusing on the face.
Mhm.
So as I was going, it's like just like focus on my cheeks, just like blood red now.
You guys are idiots. I swear to God.
See,
It worked. There's the fact.
you say idiot, I say it was an experience to build character.
uh,
That's that mental stability.
If anything, that broke my mental stability.
That's
It usually broke Peter. He was in that lane for like half the set, and then he's like, "Fuck this! I'm going to the freestyle lane."
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean that's logical. I feel like that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Like the thing is, like our collective anger after he said we're doing it again pushed us forward.
was
Is
this was it so that was your wait, was that with Kevin or was that Brannick?
Brannick.
Okay. Yeah, okay, now it all makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to put the pieces together. I'm like, well, would he do that? Would he do that?
What did he do?
Kevin's smart enough to know not to do that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't see Kevin doing that. That's
Mr. Yeah, but on the other hand, Mr. 200 IM at the 140.
Oh my god.
That was one of the sets he wrote on the board. We were doing 200 IMs, and he had a descending time, and he had it like 230, 215, 2 minute, 140. And I was like, Brannick, please look at the record board, because our record board was like for the 2 IM was like a 203.
yeah.
Like,
That was either me or Owen.
I think it was
Right,
Owen.
yeah, because I think
It was like
yeah.
203, 205. And it's like, Brannick, please, like, I'm not going to try to make a case. I'm not going to try to argue with you. Just look at the record board. He didn't even look at the record board. He's like, no, I know you can do it. Just swim faster. That was his, for all the tens of viewers watching right now. His motto, well, what we coined as his motto.
Yeah.
Because it started when he sat us down. He's like, if you want to drop time, you just got to swim faster.
And every single time he would be completely serious whenever he said it. Like in the first time, the first time with the 200s IM at the 145. Like not only did he not even look at it, he wasn't frustrated about it. He was just like confused. He was like, just do it. Just swim faster. Like, what's the deal?
Yeah. So for anyone who's like watching this and doesn't know who Brannick was, so after one of the coaches ended up leaving, like the high school ended up looking within itself for another coach instead of going outward for a swim coach for the high school team. At least for the guys. Actually, they did for the girls as well, but they at least found someone who was competent and actually swam.
Had actually swam.
And actually coached before and had taken a break and then came back. So that one made sense, but then they grabbed the soccer coach.
The JV soccer coach.
Soccer
oh,
coach.
even better.
Don't worry, his cousin coached swimming, so it's like in the bloodline,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember...
I recently found out that like they really stuck within the school because the current head Dolphins coach right now, the current head like swim coach we have, they also applied for that job. So when they applied to the job, like the head of the sports,
Athletic department.
Yeah, athletic
yeah,
department.
there it is. Like he came in and he was like, okay, like yeah, we like your resume, we'd like to hire you. We'd also give you a substitute job because like we want like people who coach the team to like work for the high school. The guy, he was like, yeah, I'm all for it. He's like, oh yeah, but you're gonna be assistant coach to the soccer guy.
Wait,
And
who was
he
this?
just like said, Josh.
Well, now he's the. Wait,
Now
what
he's
is
the,
this?
yeah.
This
This
was when
was
they were hiring
this
Baranek.
was when they're hiring the first time. When they
Oh.
offered him the job to be the assistant coach for Brannick. He
Like,
looked at them like dumbfounded, like
as
no.
one should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
real quick.
Yeah.
My swim career in high school was kind of a roller coaster because we had Kevin, who was like also he was the head Dolphins coach, and then my sophomore year we got Baranek, my junior year we kept Baranek, and then my senior year we finally got Josh, and oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, Ray.
Oh, I had 2 years of Kevin and 2 years of Josh. Where like
Also true.
Kevin, he was like the first coach that like tried for me. Because like I know Andy, you had a great experience
Mhm.
with like, but like he played hard favorites.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I was, so he'd toss me in like the slowest lanes every time. He would just like, yeah, just like no.
I remember
That came
day,
cool. Yeah.
one day
What are you saying?
one day me and Ray were talking about rock stacking and how cool it is, and like the videos of guys in nature like stacking rocks and like making a cool little tower, and so we kept talking about it. So he brought out like a TV,
Mhm.
and we watched like one of those videos, and then we had a day where like we dedicated that whole practice to like stacking like kickboards and like pool buoys and
Yeah.
stuff like that, making like cool stuff.
Kevin got like so fascinated and like rock stacking. He would show like the montages of people building like giant like structures just out of like little rocks and balancing. He's like, that's so fascinating. That's
Oh, cool.
yes.
That's that's really funny actually. Yeah, so as a friend group, like we've kind of like we have our friend group, right? Like it's the three of us plus several other people. I'm sure I'm sure we'll get all of them on the podcast at some point. So we'll all be like, well, everyone will be on the podcast at some point, pretty much. But do you guys have like? Obviously, I know some of you, like Luca, you still hang out with like the Josephers and stuff periodically.
Yeah.
Like Ray, are there still like swim friends that you like still talk to outside of like this friend group?
I still talk to the Joseph usually only when they're hanging out with Luca and they get bored, so they at my
Like
house.
Ray lives right over here.
Yeah, so then I just get a call and like, oh yeah, we're here. I'm like, okay. But other than that, I talked to Paige and Brooke. They were on Dolphins for a while. I talked to them a lot still. Honestly, I think that's about it. Because the rest just kind of got like, if they didn't start in this friend group, they eventually got like incorporated into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think I talked to anyone from swimming. Like, as bad as that may sound, like I don't really talk to Brad that much. In fairness, granted, like
Yeah.
I still consider him one of my best friends, but I just don't talk to him because A, he's not great at responding to texts, and
Yeah.
B, he's just like he's off doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing, and like our schedules don't really line up a whole lot. Like whenever we did try and do some stuff, so. Which is unfortunate because he's a good guy, but yeah, I even a lot of people that you guys wouldn't know that were in my high school graduating class, I don't really talk to them that much because they eventually got to the point of swimming where it was just like we're just doing this for the social aspect. What I was like still hard in the like, all right, I'm practicing to win, like I'm practicing to get better and better and better. And then even after high school, when all of us were kind of done swimming, I was still a coach, so I was still like in that scene a lot. And because I was in that scene a lot, I feel like I definitely just neglected all of those friends. And then because I was in the scene a lot, that's when I started talking to Luca a lot more, and started talking to Ray a lot more as well. So, there's ups and downs, but yeah, I think I don't really talk to anyone, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, the only people I really talk to is like I have a weird friendship with them, like with the Josephers and with Kristen too. Well, not Kristen, but like I have a weird friendship with Julie Maduris and the Josephers because we won't talk for like months, but then we'll hang out like every single day for like a month. But then like after that month is over, we're like we never talk again for like another month for another like half a year.
Yeah, yeah, I don't have that. Like
Yeah, but
not
like
now that I'm thinking about it, I like as far as like the swim friends go, I don't have that.
for me also like with people like Brad and like Sarah Presdick, I only talk to them because like I work with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Brad even works at the Park District anymore.
Oh, I thought he became a manager.
I have no idea
thought
what
he
he's
just
been up to.
No,
I
I don't
know-
think he works there anymore because he would have been at like the training.
No,
He and
I
Luke were
heard.
nice for the tens of viewers watching.
Yeah,
Um,
I heard that from like different people. I think from Lauren, he became a manager, but he's getting like surgery or something, so he couldn't come to the in services.
oh yeah, no, the surgery, yeah. And
He's had a couple in the
Forgot
past
about the
couple
surgery.
years.
But he is
it's something with the
actually-
leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember he used to do Taekwondo, which I actually met Brad before swim through Taekwondo
Hmm.
because that was one of the many sports that I did before swim, and that was actually one sport that I kind of like followed through with. But I was like 9 when I got my black belt, so I don't know if it really counts. But my older sisters were like Brad's age, and they knew Brad, and like I made friends with Brad through them.
Yeah. Yeah, Brett's a homie. I should probably text him today. I'll do that later. And we'll see if he responds. So yeah. Do you guys so before we close out like the whole swimming thing, are there any like weird crazy stories that you guys want to tell right now? Cuz I know I have one and I still to this day feel bad about it. But I'll save that one till last. If you guys want to share those.
Ooh, I should have had some prep time on this one. There's a lot. Since we've been in swimming for so long,
Yeah.
there's just so many, like so much happened within those years. I think it's been like over like a decade.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For me, like I have so many good stories. I feel like that in order for me to remember them, you'd have to get me on a tangent in like that certain topic.
That's fair. All right, so you want me to just give mine and then and then we can move on?
If we think about it,
Lay it on
yeah,
us.
All right, so I was like 13 or 14, and Eric gave us a butterfly set, and I was trash at butterfly. I don't know why he gave us a butterfly set. I was just going with the flow at this point, but for some reason when it's butterfly and you're doing like hundreds and stuff, you have to be really careful not to hit someone because your arms, as you can see in the background, are just all the way out. Well, at this point in my life, my arms are actually kind of long. So, we hit a point in the middle of the set that I'm watching people in my lane and I'm like being careful of people in my lane. Little did I know that I need to be paying attention to the people in the other lane. With my hands out back like this, I don't know if you guys know Kennedy. I smacked her pinky.
Oh, yeah, I remember her.
And I broke her pinky. So I broke her pinky doing a butterfly set, and I didn't know about it until like a week later because she didn't show up to practice for like a week. and we're just like, guys, where's Kennedy? Like, she hasn't been in practice. Is she okay? Like, stuff like that. Has anyone been in touch with her? She shows up to practice with like a splint on her pinky, and she goes, "Hey, Andy." I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "You broke my pinky,"
Oh my god.
and I was like, "What?" Like, I at this point it had been a week, so I had no idea. And then suddenly I'm just like, she's like, "Yeah, remember that butterfly set like a week ago when you hit someone's hand?" And I'm like thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. It takes me a couple minutes. I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, I do remember that.
And she goes, "Yeah, that was me. You broke my pinky." And she held that over me throughout high school. And she's just like, you broke my pinky, like just straight up. So yeah, that was my story. To this day I still feel really bad about it, like extremely bad about it, because I'm just like, obviously there's nothing I could have done. I was doing the set. She was in a different lane, but like, holy shit, that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, before we
Yeah.
close off swimming, I have I have a story with it's like many stories, but swimming is supposed to be a non-contact sport. It is otherwise in the right scenarios. And like Andy, it was during a fly set, and I there was a girl sitting at the wall, and I was like going in, and I tried to like go more up with my one arm, but like she was really tall, so I ended up pimp slapping her in the face mid stroke, and she had to like go get ice in the lifeguard office. I was like, oh my god.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And then yeah, I I've like, and I one time I slapped Raymond in the face too. Same reason, same like exact same situation.
I don't remember that.
It was really minor. I think I like hit you with like the tips of my fingers, and you were like, "Oh."
Probably. Yeah, I feel like I remember just getting a full-on slap in the face.
Yeah, it was a full on.
Other than like the purposeful times, you know.
Right. Have we ever been like mad at each other?
Any of us?
I don't think like I mean like I've definitely like pissed off Andy before, but that was just like, for
That was
fun.
just us being dumb.
Yeah.
That was just like me fucking around. Because
That was you guys fucking around and me trying to do my job. Yeah.
Also, when Andy, do you remember for a short time at the park district when we taught swim lessons together?
I do.
That happened.
I do.
I did so many stupid bits during that time. One of like my favorite one was question of the day. To where like
Oh, he turned into a robot.
for the fellas back home who don't know.
Ray, wait, you're a robot. Ray, you're a robot.
What happened? Is my voice all messed up?
I think it was your internet. It was like it started to dip a little bit. Your sister's probably watching Netflix or
I'm
something.
good now?
Yeah, you're fine.
Probably. I don't have the best connection.
I can tell.
All right. Anyways, my best bit was question of the day, which was like, they're 35-minute lessons, and I wanted to fill up most of that time with question of the day, since like you can only teach like so much. At the time, they had like the lessons last like not like the individual lessons, but the whole like session of it lasts so much longer than it needed to be. So there'd be days where I wouldn't have much to teach, where it'd just be like repeating drills. So I create question of the day where I'd ask them a very stupid question every single day. There'd be times when I'd be like, Andy, like, watch the kids. I gotta find the question. And I'd like book it into the guard office and be like shuffling papers around, like throwing crap, like looking for the question when like I already had it in my head, or I was just trying to think of it. It'd be like, what are the colors of the rainbow? And I'd like run into the office and be like flipping the papers everywhere, trying to look for it. And I'd run, I was like, oh, what are the colors of the rainbow? My favorite one was it was Christmas time. And so like I forgot something was going on before, but me and Andy were just like talking about like random crap. It's something about like when we found out Santa wasn't real. But then like, the kids come in and they're like, what's the question today? What's the question of the game?
No.
Kids, is Santa real? Like all of them were like, yes, yes, he's real, he's real, he's real. And like I looked at Andy because he was out of the water. He was like staring at me with the glint, like, don't do it, don't do it.
I was so
Did you
I
just?
was mad.
Did
It
you?
was so funny.
No, he didn't
No, I did.
he did not ruin
I'm not,
Christmas.
I'm not a monster.
Oh my god!
Well, I was after I said it, I was worried that there's gonna be that one little shit like Santa's not real. My mom told me.
Oh,
Luckily, we didn't have any of those kids.
Yeah, I did, and then Ray was like, "Of course, you guys all got it right. Of course, he's real." So that was like the biggest sigh of relief I've ever had. I think. Holy shit!
I just wanted to mess with you.
I was just like, "Oh my god, there's no way." But that's actually a really good segue into our next topic of working at the park district, because we've all worked there. I no longer work there. You guys both do now, right?
yes.
And so that place is a place. I just there's like no like it is unique in and of itself. It is a very interesting place to work. So I think we should definitely go into that a little bit deeper. Because we've had a lot of fun there, but we've also had a lot of frustration there.
Yeah, I think the best way to sum it up is like for the fellas back home. If we compiled, let's say there's a problem at the park district, like man, we really need water for whatever reason, and you made a list of all the possible solutions, like from best to worst. If you cut off the top half of the list, and like put in a shredder, what you're left with is what the park district would do, like any of those things.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's an accurate description of what happened.
Yeah, a lot of it wouldn't be like the absolute worst idea, but like it was nowhere close to the best idea to any problem we would have. Just like going through like some extra like hoops and bounds just like to make what they thought was better when there's like a clear cut solution.
Yeah, I
There's
even when it came to like being a coach. So as someone who's no longer working there, obviously these two have to be smart about what they say, because there could be repercussions. But for me, like I worked as a swim coach. I worked as a swim instructor. I did private lessons as well. But for some reason, I had to get certified as a lifeguard. None of the jobs, like none of the qualifications or requirements to be a swim coach required you to have a lifeguard certification. You just need CPR. But we decided that, hey, let's get these guys lifeguard certified, which in and of itself isn't bad. But like, and knowing how to save someone potentially in the water is a very good skill to have, especially when you're at a swim meet for maybe 13 hours. Maybe someone gets dehydrated, they cramp up in the pool, and stuff starts to go down. Having someone on deck and being the person on deck that knows what has to happen is a good thing. However, we went into every single thing with the tubes and all of the lifeguard gear and every single thing possible that we knew, because we had been at we've spent so many hours at swim meets, so many hours, so many swim meets, so much time at swim meets, that we're not going to have access to any of this shit. So why are you teaching us how to do all of this shit when like we don't need it? And then every single time that it was like a home swim meet or whatever, like when we knew we would have the access to this stuff, we had lifeguards. So it was just like, what is the point? What is the point of teaching the swim coaches how to use all of this equipment when we know for a fact that we're either an A, not gonna have access to this equipment, or B, like it's like when we have the access to the equipment, there's gonna be lifeguards around. It's just absurd.
See, that feeds in very well to like the starting analogy of this. See, like the most logical would just be like doing the CPR and like getting it over with, but then like down to like the middle of the, because that's definitely not like they could have handled things a lot worse.
Oh yeah.
That's more of just like so that's more of the middle of the list, which is usually where they choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's turning a 3-hour class into a 3-day class.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah, the lifeguard certification for all the swim coaches never took more than 3 hours. We were able to crank out
Yeah.
every single thing in 3 hours in person.
Yeah, even if I wasn't working for the park district now, like most of the stuff going around now, mainly like the inefficiencies, aren't really by the park district, mainly just because.
Oh.
All right, so we're down to two apparently. Um and
Oh.
he's back and now he's below me.
No, okay, yeah, he's below me as well.
Okay, what? All right. I can't hear him.
Ray, we can't hear or see
And he's
you.
gone. And he's back.
Hello?
There he is.
Hey,
Hello?
we can hear you.
That was amazing.
Smokey the Bear.
Give me a second.
Mhm.
Smokey,
Yeah.
only you can prevent wildfires. Okay,
All right,
we're
he's
back.
back.
I don't know what happened. Like it wasn't even my internet. I just got the little screen that was like, "Oh snap, your internet's out." And I looked up my internet, and it was
Oh,
like all full. Yeah, and I had like the full bars. I'm like, "What happened?" So I tried hitting refresh, and that wasn't working. So I just had to load up an entirely new tab.
Oh, are you in the browser version?
I'm in the browser.
Oh
version.
no.
makes sense.
Because like I downloaded it like on my last computer, I downloaded it and I like never used it, and it was super annoying every time I boot up my computer. And then like Steam pops up, Spotify pops up, and then like it's like the punch, and then like Discord's like, what if we like just
Sounds like
take
Discord
like
uppercutting
30
you
minutes?
right now.
Oh my, you. Hello?
This is the funniest
Hello,
shit, bro.
Chop,
Hello?
choppy.
This is funny.
Help.
You know you can like control what opens on startup, right?
Andy, I'm not. I'm.
I'll teach you afterwards. So going back to the park district. So working as like let's go over like pretty much all the roles that we've held. So let's start at coaching. I've raised a current coach. I'm a former coach. Ups, downs. Like what is some stuff that like you've enjoyed? One of this like whether that just be an aspect of the job, and what are the parts that you just absolutely despise?
Honestly, like coaching is easily like my anything that involved like the coaching, probably not swim lessons because those are like little kids, but like the private lessons and like the actual like swim team coaching has got to be like the most like fulfilling and like most in most circumstances fun job that I've had at the park district, mainly because like you get to watch them like grow faster as people, and you get like you start with like these little tubby kids like rolling around sucking their thumbs, and you get to like build them up until they're actually like worrying about times, and they have their specific strokes and they know what they're good at. And like after a race when they run up like did I do the thing I always do? I'm like, no, you didn't. You actually like fixed your stroke. And they're like, yes.
Yeah. I think I have to agree. Like watching people improve and seeing the drive that I know I had, like it is really like nice because you know at that point that the fear for everything is that it dies because no one is gonna have the same drive. No one's gonna fill your place, right? Once
Yeah.
you leave. But knowing like seeing that and seeing people be like, oh yeah, like this is something that I really enjoy. This is something that I love. Like seeing the excitement um of like a swimmer run up to you after one of their swims and being like, hey, like how did I do? What was my time? All this stuff. It is really cool. Honestly, it's cool to have those conversations. And obviously, like, sometimes it's hard to have those conversations because it's like, all right, well, you swam not good.
Bad.
Yeah, you swam very no good. And so here's a couple things to fix that, and then we go into the next practice, and then suddenly that's what they're focused on. And so that's definitely one of the better things. I think the more frustrating things that I had was always management. Like even dealing with like I know a lot of people say dealing with parents sucks. Dealing with parents was awesome. I didn't like I think there was like I think there was like just a handful of parents that didn't like me, but that was because like in fairness, I was a coach that swore. So like that obviously that's going to be a bit divisive because, you know, they're younger kids, but when they're swimming absolutely terrible and they're not focused and the practice is they're wasting practice, yeah, I'm gonna say they're swimming like shit. And you know, if you sometime in my philosophy of coaching, if you can't handle that, then you really like don't show up to a competitive practice. Show up and do your job, and I won't swear. You know, um, but yeah, like I dealing with parents was fine. It was just a matter of like sometimes the management. It took a while to hear back from people. It took a while to be like, hey, like what's the plan for this? On top of that, I always felt like I was the only assistant coach that ever did anything when I was there. Like especially for
Yeah, you
big
were there at a
meets.
very weird time.
Yeah. Whenever there were
You were
swim
there during the
meets.
transition out of
Mhm.
Eric.
Yeah, so to put a little to give a whole perspective of everything, for every single swim meet, for setup and cleanup, I was there. None of the other coaches really were. For like the time in practice and like time spent at practices, our practices for the whole team would take up 4 hours, like 3.5 to 4 hours, depending on the day. I was there from start to finish, even sometimes longer. So, it's just sometimes I was there longer. And like I really didn't see really anyone else doing that. And it was just a matter of like, all right, like I understand this is a job, but it's also a job that is heavily reliant on human interaction and interaction with other people that are around you. And if you're not going to put in the time to interact with people, like I don't think you're doing your job to your fullest. And it just felt like I was the only one who was trying to do that. Um, so those were like my biggest gripes. Obviously, right when I was leaving, I was sort of training Ray and I was sort of training Colin to kind of like take over in my place. Um, and I don't think I did a great job. In fairness, I think I did mediocre at best. But um, and also like there was never 100% communicated with me like, hey Andy, you're gonna train these people to like take your like to be coaches more. Granted, they didn't know I was leaving at that point because it was my decision to leave. It was not me quitting. And it was not them firing me. It was me like actually being like, yeah, I can't work here anymore. Because there was a breaking point that should I talk about the breaking point? It was I'm not gonna say names. The breaking point also wasn't anything with the people at there currently.
I think that's a different podcast.
Okay, yeah, that's fine then.
We got we
Yeah.
got time.
Yeah, it just wasn't. There was a breaking point,
Yeah,
and I left.
Yeah, you're working under a much different management. Well, not really management, just like head coach wise than me.
Hmm.
Because like as soon as I entered officially,
Yeah.
it was like the old coach that was like the head coach for Andy. When I was there, it was like, yeah, we'll give you a job. And then like I was like, when? She's like, we'll give you a job. I was like, thank you for answering. Then she would just like every once in a while she would like toss me as an assistant coach. And then when she was finally like, okay, you're gonna start this summer, it's like, okay, sick. Like I'm gonna actually start coaching this summer. And then she quit.
She quit right after I did too.
Yeah, she quit as soon as the summer season started. So the the aquatics, one of like the aquatics bosses, one of like the more head honchos, called me and two other college students in. And she was like, I was a high schooler at the time. She's like, you're gonna run the team.
Holy
I was
shit!
like,
Going back to that.
I remember that.
I was looking at like the other two college students. I'm like, we're running the team.
We are head coaches.
And she's like, yeah. So we declared ourselves each officially 1/3 of a head coach. There was one who did there's one who did like most of the like honestly like most of the heavy lifting, Bridget.
Oh yeah.
First names. Yeah,
We're fine with first names. Yeah.
Yeah, Bridget, she did most of the heavy lifting. She did like all like the technology stuff. I did not know how to work the software at all. Like we would not have run without her. I was the parents guy. Most of the time I'd be dealing with the parents.
Yeah.
Or like whatever the other one, Cassie, needed me to do. and Cassie was the fun department. She she always just made things fun for the team. If like kids were like down, she would always cheer them up. So it was us three, and then like we added some people throughout the season. That was my first year coaching. My first year coaching was like, yeah, you're like helping run the team, and I was like, oh, this is not what I signed up for.
Aren't there like 5 coaches now?
Yeah, now like after that first summer, we got the new head coach Josh, who we talked about earlier in the podcast.
Guy.
Yeah, oh my god, this amazing. I love that guy. And then like he took over, then we got like Megan and a bunch of other people who are just like much more qualified than me. Like because even like when we were like first three, when we were all called in there, none of us had any experience with running a team.
Yeah.
It's not like any of us had been like, oh yeah, I kind of ran a team before. Like no, like Bridget coached like the summers, but she was just the coaching aspect.
Yeah.
It's like we had like other coaches for that before, but when everyone was gone, it was like just us, and I was like, uh-oh,
Kind of crazy.
why?
Yeah. It's
They kept saying they're gonna hire a new coach like during the season, and they never did.
it's really difficult in like just coaching. Like I know when I like my first year I didn't do any administrative work. I was just there to coach. That's all I was there for. But then like afterwards there's like a disgusting, like I started picking up a little bit. There's a disgusting amount of administrative work that you have to do.
Yeah, I know. I did some of the administration work, definitely not as much as Bridget. You can't
Yeah.
stress that enough. But like,
Cannot
she was
stress
like,
that
"Hey, we
enough.
need to do." Yeah, she'd be like, "Okay, we need to do entries." So we'd usually go to like a breakfast place. Like we called ourselves the Big Three. We'd go to a breakfast place and we would just be like filling out the entries for like hours
Yeah.
at a breakfast place. Entries, results. It was great at the breakfast places too. I kind of missed that because like I would just keep getting my runs of coffee.
That's
But it was
dangerous.
so nice. It was fun at the same time, but it was just a lot of work. I don't know how like one person working at like barely above minimum wage could do that.
Oh yeah. Also, pay there isn't great. I think we should clarify that. Pay's not
It's
great.
not that good
It's
at
not
all.
good.
It's improved over time.
Yeah.
Because it's like an thing. I still need to talk to my boss about my winter raise.
The amount of
There's gonna be a well worded email being sent. Not as like a mean word, but just like a little like snaking around. Like, don't get mad at this.
Yeah.
yeah, for the amount of pay that we get, I
Kinda-
feel like they don't reflect that too well on their financial decisions. For example, they because of COVID and like not to have too many touch points or like where a lot of kids are going to be like touching their hands and feet and stuff like that. They didn't close down the diving board. They took it out. Like they unbolted it from the ground and it's just somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. Was that because of the touch point thing?
Yes. I asked Lauren, one of our managers, and she said that there was too many touch points, so they took it out. So I was
Interesting.
like, why not just put a little like tape?
Yeah, you can just some cross tape in there.
You could also just have it up the entire time.
I know it's not, but like at the same time, like a manager could like forget and like bring it down one day, or like some of the cards. Like at the same time, like you can just get the caution tape.
Yeah.
Kids are surprisingly responsive to construction tape because I remember one time in like kindergarten there was like decorations on, because it was like Halloween, it was like do not enter on the library, and like kids went into the library and they came back to the classroom because they wanted to get some books and they're like, teacher, we can't go in, it's under construction.
That's funny actually. Yeah.
I think it's
I don't
just like
know.
a psychological thing, you know, because like
And with cartoons.
when you see like like those like red like plastic things with all the holes in it. Like when you see that, most people think like, no, I'm not passing that for the life of me. It's like a fence. but like plastic.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking-
Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Whenever I see that, like my initial instinct was like, okay, like turn around. I'm not going through that. Like, and that's like even more prominent in kids. And there's just like a closed sign. Like they're not gonna think like, oh, let me go through this. They'll think like, no, this is closed. If I go on it, I will die.
Yeah. John,
Like
I feel like
that's the mindset. Like you'll never cross that. So if you just hit like a, yeah, you know what I mean.
I feel like John Mulaney said it best when he said that he was way too concerned for quicksand when that is not an actual threat.
That's actually really funny. But yeah, let's talk about you guys as lifeguards, and then we can move on to the fun segment of the podcast.
Lifeguard fun. Like
Yeah,
well, like
lifeguarding is fun.
fun if you have the right people working with you.
Yes, because lifeguarding can be an absolute, I'll just say drag. Depending.
Yeah,
on
it can be. Since like all the people that work at the park district, their day, depending on who you have, can vary from like a blast. So you're not gonna say like more than 2 words to like this is the worst shift I've ever had. It's totally dependent on the people.
Yeah.
Because the job itself, it's like you're watching water. Like obviously that gets boring. It's pretty like mundane. But like from your interactions with people, that can make or break the day. So like if you're with people you like don't know, most of the guards are super tight. But
Right.
like there's always like the new guards every season.
Not
apparently
well,
we-
yeah.
We don't have any new guards this season. They just got dropped.
No, we have some new ones. Because in my
From what I heard, they just like dropped them, or
In
they're
my-
going to.
in my cert class, only one person got dropped, and there was like 5 veteran guards, 5 new guards in that class, and I think only one of them got booted.
Yeah, I don't think they're like hiring anyone else now because like the COVID stuff. But
Yeah.
anyways, a sidetracked. But like, if like it's a new guard, like they're quiet. They don't want to like open up or like you can't like goof around with someone you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're not talking like the entire time. It just gets rough.
Yeah, I feel like when I was a new guard last year, it was really easy for me to like make friends with everyone because of being in swim, and I kind of already knew everybody because I had like seen them before.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
So when I was getting hired, as I was walking in, like they had my like first interview at the outdoor pool when the pool was open. And I got very lucky because as I was walking in, like the very few guards I knew were working and they were at like right in my way. So I was getting like, hi Ray. And like Brad's like, Ray, you're working here now? And I was like, yeah, man. So he like took me like by the arm and he walked into Christine's office. He's like, this is a good hire.
This guy, nice.
Good hire,
I
yeah.
practically like I didn't even need to sit through the interview, even though that interview was for swim instructors instead of lifeguarding, which I found out halfway through the interview. It's funny, it was like a little like Sherlock Holmes bit because I did not know what was going on. She was not talking like any questions about lifeguarding. She was asking how he's doing the kids, and I was just like sitting there like, what? Just like thinking, I can't say it out loud. I can't like say that like I don't know what I'm being interviewed for. I realized that it wasn't for lifeguarding. So I was sitting there thinking like, what other jobs did I see on the application? That I saw like swim instructors. Like, okay, like I need to take my leap of faith. I need to test my hypothesis. So I sat down. I was like, so as a swim instructor, and like her facial expression didn't change, and I was like, I'm right. I'm in the system. Just continued the interview from there.
Bro, I actually funny story. So for the coaching job, I never actually had to take an interview or even apply. I was just
Really?
given
For
it.
the coach, me neither. I was just like,
Yeah.
hey, I want to like coach, and like, okay, we'll just toss you in as the assistant coach. Then like that happened, and then they were like, yeah, you're running the team.
Oh, but you guys both.
Yeah, Eric literally texted me, "Hey, you want a job?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. When do practices start?" He goes, "Tomorrow." okay, I'll be there. Like, what time do I need to be there? 6. 6, but like, can we have a meeting? Like, I want to have a meeting beforehand. And then he announces he's leaving. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So it was a really weird 48 hours. That's all I gotta say.
That was
That was a hot 48 hours. And then the only job I actually like ever, and then like when I had to go for my application, like one of the pool managers like kept pestering me about it. I'm like, there's no position open. She goes, just apply for like a swim instructor job. And I was like, all right, fine. But it was like, why do you want to apply for this position? I'm not. And it was like an open answer question. It was like, I'm not. I'm applying for a swim coach. I was told to do this. And it was like, what makes you qualified for the position? I already have it. Like that was what I did for my application. And then I actually had to apply for the swim lesson instructor, or not swim lesson manager, coordinator. Coordinator? Yeah, coordinator. And then I was like, that was the easiest interview of my life.
Yeah.
And then I got that position with Pete. And then I left that because I didn't want it anymore.
Yeah, I did the swim lesson like coordinator thing for a little bit. Though like that's when we had a new boss. It was after Pete.
Yeah.
After Pete left, we got a new person, and then like she started hiring a bunch of like juniors just to do like grunt work. I didn't want to do it, but like she kind of like she was like, "Hey, do it. You'll get more cash." I was like, "Okay." I just didn't take on like any more responsibility than I had to, other than like making sure like the swim instructors did their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And after I got that job, my whole thing was like slowly like shuffle out of it. So I'd just be like slowly just like dropping like more shifts. Like, oh, can't do more. Like, guess I'll only sub and show up to meetings.
That's smart.
So where like now I'm still technically I still have that job.
Oh, jeez.
Not doing swim lessons anymore. It's like this summer I was gonna be official. I was like, yeah, like, no, I'm done with this. But now it's like, now I have a whole other year until I need to make that final conversation.
Yeah. So let's close it out. Obviously, that's the park district. That's just a brief insight into the park district. From the aquatics perspective, obviously there's a bunch of other jobs there. There's a bunch of other positions there that we don't really have insight into. But yeah, that's aquatics at the park district. So fun. Now we're gonna move on to my favorite segment because it's stupid and I love stupidity. Is the Are You High segment. I don't know if you guys have watched any of the previous episodes or if you have like any idea what this is, but essentially if you don't, essentially what this is I ask you two 4 different questions. They're extremely stupid questions. They're like they are questions that you get in your mind if you're drunk, if you're high, whatever. You're not in the right form of mind, or you're me and you just have these stupid thoughts. And I want you guys to give the most ridiculous answers possible and give your thought process on it. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, this one's a little bit more tame. Would you rather eat a slug covered in chocolate or tree bark covered in algae and slime?
A slug or chocolate? You cut out for
me. So a slug covered in chocolate or tree bark covered in algae and slime.
Slug covered in chocolate.
You guys keep cutting out. I'm sorry. Luca, you go first, then repeat the question.
Do you want me to type it to you?
Okay, I'm just gonna fully like say back the question. I would easily pick slug covered in chocolate over tree bark with algae because like there's nothing good coming out of a tree bark with algae. Like that is like nature plus like nature and like things you're not supposed to like naturally eat, except I mean like algae, I guess. But like with a slug, it's gonna be the texture is gonna be nasty, but like it's at least it tastes like chocolate. It's just gonna taste like you've like if you ever have a cold, like you've like sucked in a booger too much and you've accidentally swallowed it. I assume it's gonna be the same thing, but like chocolate.
Okay.
See, I would rather the tree with algae because, as you know from SpongeBob, like moss grows towards civilization, and obviously, if I'm eating a bark with algae, either like I skipped lunch or I'm lost. So I would need to know how to find my way back. So I just carry the bark around with me, and wherever it is pointing, I would head in that direction. That's where civilization is, you know. Then if I
Right.
get hungry along my long journey, like a bite,
Quick
I could
snackaroo.
yeah, I could be like one of those people, one of those monsters with pizza that you know how they peel the cheese, eat the cheese, then eat the crust. I can do that with the bark with algae, make it last longer, peel the algae off, eat the algae, and then save the bark for last. You know, because that's the good stuff. And like
Okay.
sometimes you might even get lucky, get a couple like worms, maybe
Get
a
a
couple
couple
mice,
bugs.
really lucky.
Get a
Slimy
little
yet
protein.
satisfying.
Yeah, I got you. I
Yeah,
got
those,
you.
those are the raisins on my muffin, you know.
Those are the those are the raisins on my
The rain.
raisins.
On your
Those are the
muffin.
raisins on my oatmeal raisin.
All right. So, are you guys ready for the next question then?
Yes.
Born ready.
Which exist, mole people or mer people?
Hmm.
Right. Have you ever seen the little mole maid? I don't think so. But you have seen the little mermaid. So I'm not saying that the only correct answer is mer people,
You know what?
but all I'm saying is you've never seen a mole maid.
I am with Raymond on that one. I'm thinking logically, and I'm saying we have only discovered 5% of the ocean, and that just doesn't sit right with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
There's gotta be more out there. Like there's no way we're not alone in the universe because how big it is and like the chances that there is another planet with like life that's like habitable to life.
Yeah, I've seen the Lost Lego City of Atlantis TV series, and there's mer people in that. So
Also,
like I don't know how you can refute this evidence.
are
I have
we
one of the
when you say mer people, are you talking about like Atlantis, like full civilization, like fully like they have language, they have like buildings, or are you just talking about humanoid looking things?
Just humanoid looking thing. I'm not looking for a civilization.
Okay, then yeah.
yeah, they don't need to be that advanced. And
Yeah.
like okay, which half is like the mer half?
Does it matter?
Well,
Yeah,
is it
'cause you
just
can
like
have
is it like a fish top with just like feminine legs?
Those thick
Bottom.
legs.
Yeah, with just like thicker than a snicker, just like you slap it and like you hear the ripples in the water around it. Or is it just the top? That's a good
I,
question, Andy.
you know, I never really thought about it. I just assumed the bottom half, but it could be the top half.
Could be like a half and half, like you know Two-Face from Batman?
Oh, that'd be disgusting.
Human face and like morphs into like a little fish face.
That sits wrong with me. that doesn't sit well with me.
well, I watched a YouTube video on like could we survive in the ocean if we had gills, like if we could just breathe underwater? And the answer is like a very like complicated yes because like the ocean is the ocean, but it's also freezing cold and there's pressure and like our eyes aren't adapted to see
Start a
in the ocean.
fire.
Also true.
I mean, you've seen SpongeBob. He's even got a campfire song.
Yeah,
It's the campfire song
Exactly.
song, all right? I mean, understandable. That makes sense.
If there's sea bears, there's sea people.
mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't refute that. Um all right, next question. If you could rename Bluetooth, what would you change it to? This is a thinker right here.
This is a thinker. I think, personally, I'd rename it to Connecty Device.
I was trying to think of like connecting device, but I didn't want to say something.
Yeah, because think about it. Like you have like dumbasses. It's not blue. Like why are you naming it Bluetooth?
I don't know,
You're
dude. My
connecting.
my Bluetooth speaker right here is blue, so I don't know.
Got a
Think
point.
about it. Think about it. I think I broke Ray.
It's tough. It's blue.
Fucking blue.
I think at that point you just name it blue connecting device.
Yeah.
Or
Connected
connecting
device. Yeah, I was just gonna say connected device blue. Um, I
Alright,
feel like if it was up to me,
yeah.
I would name it after myself, and I would mark it anytime anyone says that they give me 25 cents.
25 cents, that's it?
Think of how much it's gonna build up, though. People are like, okay, I'll just toss this guy a quarter just so I can say it. But like, think about how many people think that same thought. That's Money City.
Oh, you could also call it cord without the cord.
So
In parentheses.
so cordless?
Wait, just call it.
No,
Just call it. Just call it Air Connect or something like AirPods. There's no wire.
Yeah.
This is a weird one.
Connecting device. I think I like
Blue.
I think I like connecting device blue. Yeah. I think that's the best one. All right.
Mhm.
So final question. We've all had piggy banks in our life, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
Well, actually, I didn't have a piggy bank. I had one that was in the shape of a rabbit. But go on.
Okay, but we've all seen the concept of a piggy bank. We all know it's called a piggy bank. But what made pigs so worthy of holding all of our money?
Because of robber barons. They're
I
like,
think because
because
good.
those capitalist pigs. I don't know.
I think it started.
I'm trying to think very logically about this one, and
No, this all started back in like the 1850s with Mr. Bank when he opened up his first bank, and when like he was like, "Hey, I'll hold your money." It was supposed to be one giant con, where he was just gonna like steal everyone's money because he's like, "Hey, give me your money, I'll hold it on to you." Like, freaking idiots. Then they actually gave him like a shit ton of money, and he didn't know what to do with it. He's like, "Crap, I don't even have like an establishment. Like, where do I hide it?" He also happened to be a well-established farmer. So he took some of his pigs, he cut them open, like completely dissected them, and just hid all the cash in there.
Okay. Yeah, I could. You know what? It just seems logical, right? Jesus fuck.
Why are you laughing? I'm giving you a history lesson.
Okay.
see,
Yeah.
and
Mr. Bank.
Mr. Bank was also a distant cousin to
Oh,
William
you
Howard.
know Mr. Bank too?
Yeah, he was a distant cousin to William Howard Taft, and those were some big boys. And they were let's just say they were eating swell. And
Well, how do you
people
think Taft got fat? No, because they're like Mr. Bank's like, I have all this pig intestines that we need to eat, and like I'll get my good buddy Taft
sausages.
sausages.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. You know what? Sure, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes the Are You High segment. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's just always entertaining to
I was
hear.
a big fan.
I was a fan of that.
It's always fun to hear people's like thought processes of stupid questions. You
Is
get
it the same questions for every podcast?
no, it's different every single time. So every
my
week,
God.
every week I come up with a new 4 questions. So yeah.
How does it feel to like have a bunch of stoners like start to watch the podcast as it's not about like getting high, and then do you think they're just like greatly disappointed?
I don't care if they're disappointed. I don't think about the stoners, to be fair. But yeah, that concludes the episode today. If you guys want to talk about any upcoming events for yourselves, like streaming, stuff like that, or YouTube channels and stuff along those lines, feel free to plug those right now, and I'll open the floor to you guys.
Just I
Luca.
often stream. when I can, and hopefully I can start get going on the brand. But nothing is finalized right now. So
And
I
then
just got an app coming up.
you have
you
a
got a
what?
nap coming up.
Yeah, that's about it. I don't do streaming too much. Well, like at all, really. I don't have a. I should probably get a Twitch account.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, maybe. Well, if you guys want to check out
Oh,
if you guys want to check them out, their socials will be in the description down below. Thank you guys for being on the podcast. Thank you if you made it this far in the podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please leave a like onto this video. It definitely helps with the algorithm of YouTube because the algorithm's an algorithm. If you guys want to see more podcasts in the future, please subscribe. Hit the bell, not the like button. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button, so it'll give you notifications for whenever the next video goes live. And we will see you guys. Well, I will see you guys. They won't. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Um,
Peace out.